the only way to fight inflation without crashing the young is not to practice austerity. Things that poorer people buy and younger people buy, the inflation rate over them is 5 times the average rate of inflation. Not forget that. Huh? There's no such thing as an inflation rate. There are many inflation rates. So the younger facing the worst inflation rate. How do you deal with inflation? Well, look, why do we have inflation? We don't have inflation because of too much money being spent by the government. We had huge quantities of money being spent. As I said, trillions and trillions were printed by the ECB and was channeled into the financial circuits of the European Union between 2009 and 2021. And there was no inflation. There was the opposite, deflation. So it's not the quantity of money which is creating inflation. It's not public expenditure. What was it? It was the pandemic. Now, what did the pandemic do? The pandemic crashed the supply chains. So essentially, if you wanted to, you were at home, you were bored because of the lockdown, you wanted to buy an exercise bicycle to exercise at home, right? You had a little bit of money that the government gave you. You put in a mail order for an exercise bike, but the thousands did the same thing. The ports were locked down. There were very few exercise bikes in the shops. So there was a lot of demand, zero supply, well, very small supply, prices went up. That unleashed the first wave of inflation. That had nothing to do with the fact that people got 500, 1,000 euros from the government. It had to do with the fact that the supply chain was interrupted, that the supply was there. If we care about inflation, it's not a question of reducing demand through austerity to keep prices, a lid on prices. We should push supply up. And there are two ways of pushing supply up. One is to end the cartels and this ridiculous notion of an electricity market. There can never be an electricity market. It's just an oligarchy cartel. And secondly, invest in order to increase productive capacity. So as not to have a situation where when there is an increase in public expenditure or in wages or whatever, demand hitting the supply constraint. That is the number one priority. The Chinese know that. This is how they fought inflation in China. If China had a problem with inflation, they did not deal with it through austerity. They dealt with it through massive expansion in productive capacity. Same in the United States.